Okay, so this is an informative meeting where I'm gonna do a little presentation about myself and my research. And following will be question and answer session. Please feel comfortable to voice your questions, say it on screen, or you can also use a chat. Chat is monitored by teachers I invited here who already took the course, and maybe they'll even have to say something. You can ask questions about their experiences. I'll introduce them a little bit later. Um, right now, I wrote a question in the chat asking you to write what countries you are from. So if you don't mind, please. I'm just curious because I saw your names, but I don't know what countries you are from. Um, I already see many countries. Very good. So we already have 32 people present. So I guess we are gonna start the presentation. And then we'll follow with question and answers. Please keep your microphones off until you are ready to speak, but you can keep your cameras on. Thank you very much. And I'm gonna share my screen right now. Okay. As you know, my name is Irina Gorin, and I would like to tell you a little bit about myself, my musical journey, and a few of the experiences that led me to develop the curriculum for piano beginners, Tales of a Musical Journey. I was born in Kiev, Ukraine, and studied at the Kiev Institute of Music that you see on the picture right now, my alma mater, and Kharkov Conservatory, where I achieved master degrees in piano performance, piano pedagogy, chamber orchestra, and accompaniment. Even though I was a successful performer and loved accompanying and playing in chamber orchestra, piano teaching was my true passion, and I still follow this through my whole life and career. I started teaching in Ukraine when I was very young, even when I was a student still. And I was raised and trained on Russian method. In 1993, my husband and I immigrated to United States with our family, and I started teaching piano there. I explored many of the popular method books available for piano instructions, but I was not achieving the results I hoped to with my students. Russian piano method. Oh, these are method books. Russian piano methods emphasized artistry, expressiveness, singing tone, and physical freedom, and all of these were hard to achieve with my American students. By contrast, they were challenges understanding the technical and musical concepts that seemed so natural to me. Besides, they didn't have much interest in classical music or piano lessons and had little desire to practice. I had the most struggles with my transfer students who were trained in five-finger position approach that I found out only when arrived in the USA. For instance, a few years ago, I received a phone call from a mom inquiring about lessons for her 5-year-old daughter, who cried every time she needed to practice piano, even though she used to love music and piano. She'd be having the whole year of piano lessons before this call. I was curious to see what made this little girl suffer so much. Here's a snippet from our first meeting. After a few seconds of watching little Catherine play, I was ready to cry myself.
Show me what you can play for me, how you're playing. Good girl. Very good.
Um, she definitely seems very sad when she does it. And it was happening so many times during my um, 30 years of teaching in the USA. Such encounters led me to a deep dive into piano pedagogy research and its history and development over 300 years. I researched famous pedagogues of the past, including the Russian masters, as well as the great masters and performers of the past and their writings and teachings. My research led me to development of Tales of a Musical Journey, which is sequentially based approach to technical and artistic development presented through a story about the magical kingdom of sounds and its inhabitants. My goal was to introduce in an understandable way technically complicated concepts that allow students and teachers to produce a beautiful sound on the piano, fire up their imagination, and develop their creativity. In other words, I hope to raise well rounded human beings who would appreciate classical music, feel comfortable while performing, enjoy the process of learning and practicing, and be able to play by ear, improvise and compose on piano, and read notes. Teaching Catherine, other beginners and transfer students proved it is possible to achieve great results. If teachers not only stick to the available method books but teach correct technique right from the very first lesson, build a strong relationship with students and their parents, develop a personal connection with every child and each piece they play, ignite their imagination through stories, listening to music, analogies, and props. Here's Catherine again, after 2 years of lessons with me, going through Tales of a Musical Journey and beyond. That same sad, shy girl is shown here performing at the Gala Concert of winners of the International Piano Competition. She plays Eugenie Rocherol's Let's Boogie. That interest, skills, and enjoyment when developed at a young age contributes to the continuous musical growth of our youth, whether or not they decide to pursue music careers or become music lovers and advocates instead. Please watch Chendi, my student of 8 years, performing Jan Sibelius' Romance in D-flat major at the age of 14. Chendi is now a sophomore at Washington, D.C.'s Georgetown University studying international politics. The subtitles of this video describe the main principles of the unified modern technique, which was promoted starting from the classical era and Beethoven, then continued by Liszt, Chopin, and other famous composers and pianists. If you're interested in learning more about this curriculum and the main principles involved in raising enthusiastic and motivated piano students, please join more than 400 piano teachers from 45 countries in the pedagogy courses. More about history of piano pedagogy you can watch on my YouTube channel, Irina Gorin. This video is called Piano Pedagogy for Children, and it will be the whole hour of history and details of my research, which are kind of prerequisite to level 1 course. That's all for today. I didn't want to put too much information on you right now because I want to give enough time to answer your questions. So I would like to introduce teachers who already took the courses, who are here with us, and they are helping to monitor the questions in the chat. And also they can answer your questions from the point of view of participants. I think it will be interesting to know how these courses affected their own teaching. We have here Sandra Scruton. Can you wave, Sandra, please? Willette, I never know how to pronounce your name. Amy Choi, your last name, I'm sorry. Amy Choi. We have Isabella from Romania, Kathleen, Barbara Simpson. So they all are ready to answer questions too. We can start. Any questions right now? Anyone?
While you're maybe formulating your questions, I'd like to just say a few words to that about why this course inspired me and why I chose to take it. When COVID started and we had to go online teaching, Irina she created the first level. And I wrestled with it at first because I thought, do I really want to spend that kind of money? And I was talking with my husband, and he was encouraging me because he knows how passionate I am about teaching. And I've been teaching more than 40 years now. And so I thought, well, if I get one or two really great ideas, because I had noticed on YouTube how free and musical Irina's students were, her results were phenomenal. And I wanted to see those kind of results in my students. And so I thought, okay, I'll sign up for this. I will invest in this. And I laugh at myself now because from the very first lesson, I must have had about like 15 great ideas instead of just one or two. So every session that I took away multiple great, inspiring ideas. And I'm an experienced teacher and I love what I do and I'm considered quite strong in my area, but this is transforming my teaching. I'd always been curious about the Russian school, never had exposure to it. And this has changed my own playing as well. My sound has changed and I'm able to handle the much more technically difficult things, even though I have my piano teaching degree and I had played concert pianist level pieces before. This gave me access to even more technically and sound wise. So yeah, it is changing my teaching completely. It's very inspiring. And another bonus is that I've met teachers from all over the world and we support each other. We get together on Zoom, we ask questions, we share our triumphs and we share our challenges, and then we inspire each other. We're a very, very supportive group. So I can't recommend this highly enough. There's nothing else like this out there. And if you're curious about improving your students' engagement in music, in practicing properly and wanting to, and you're curious in freeing up their technique and creating beautiful sound and just having them make inspiring music, seeing them light up, this course is worth this every penny and more. I can't recommend it enough. So if you have any questions for us, we're very happy to answer them.
So I have a question about, can we talk about the format of this class? How much time commitment and stuff?
Absolutely. So the course is 10 months long. Every month, you will watch 2 pre-recorded sessions. They run between 35 to 55 minutes. You can watch them at your own convenience from your own home at any time. Once a month, on the first Tuesday is for level 1. First Tuesday of the month, the same time as today, we will have live Zoom question and answer session where we'll be answer questions that are not possible to answer in written form. I'll tell you about that a little bit later. I always have a second camera here for those Zoom sessions, and I can demonstrate, and you can demonstrate what you have questions about. And that session runs between 1 to 2 hours every month. Another form of communication which is ongoing is support group on Facebook for participants of this class only. So only those teachers who are taking part in this course will be there. And every session will have some kind of homework. It's not a requirement for you to do that, but a lot of teachers benefited from posting their own playing, their own tries, and reading the comments. Now, again, this is not a requirement. Some teachers never posted anything, but still benefited a lot from watching others and reading a feedback. But I would encourage, and the teachers who took the course can tell how much improvement they noticed when they posted this homework. There is another option if you are not interested in communication or feedback. You can just buy the whole course without participating in any Zoom or Facebook. You just get 2 pre-recorded sessions per month to watch. But I would say that the first option, when we can all become friends, supporters, cheerleaders for each other, is very, very beneficial. So that's a little bit about format, and if there are more specific questions, I can definitely answer.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the price difference with the 3 different options?
Yes, the price difference is $200 for the whole course. So those teachers who buy only pre-recorded sessions pay $600 for this 10-month course, and those who have all these additions pay $800 for 10 months. The last 2 months that you are not paying for, but you still can have access to both Facebook and videos. Also, if you enroll in the course, you get some bonuses, such as additional videos, PDFs, soundtracks, video course for parents, which is selling on the website, but you get it for free.
Could I add something, a little bit of something? I was fortunate enough to find Irina thanks to somebody answering the question, what methods do you use with your beginners? And I had been looking, I was teaching for 30 years in 2015, and I was really looking for something different. And so without attending any workshops or anything else, I ordered the books, ordered the, there's a little booklet available to help. So I ordered that. I ordered the helps, the little animals and everything that were help. And I just plunged right in. I heard about it just at the end of August and just decided I'm going for it. And I noticed a huge difference right away with my students, even though I didn't really know what I was doing. Then I attended some workshops and learned a lot more. Then I attended the piano pedagogy course. And one of the things that I particularly noticed at each workshop that I attended, because I was fortunate to attend 3 of them, was that Irina didn't present the same thing as what I'd heard the last time. She just increased the research, what was presented, and the pedagogy course, quite frankly, was over and above. Something that I'd like to say is I got a call last because somebody was asking about transfer students. There was a question, how do you transfer students from their current method of study? Well, for me personally, what I've started doing since almost the very beginning is I take my students through the first 2 books. The first one is a loaner because it's all non-legato, and just to introduce them to the freedom of movement from that non-legato. And we use the second book as a technique book. Now, I know not every teacher does this, but where I'm at in my understanding and stuff, I while still working on their regular program, we do that. And I have noticed a big difference that they pick, because the pieces are so short and because embedded in each piece is something, some technical thing that they're learning. It's really easy. They're generally only 4 to 8 bars long. So students are not overwhelmed. But they soon, transfer students soon realize that there's more to these pieces than meets the eye, especially the ones that are way more advanced. They think, oh, I can do this, no problem. And then they realize, oh, we have to lift our hands at the end of slurs. Oh, we have to make a difference in the dynamics, etc. And I got a phone call last spring from a teacher that is in my community that she asked me what I was using, how I was teaching during the pandemic, and I had a lovely conversation with her. And then towards the end, I asked her, I said, how did you hear about me? She said, well, she said, I got a couple of students that had studied with you. And I noticed right away how their technique was, how they were playing. And I thought, man, that teacher knows what she's doing. I need to talk to her. But what blew me away was that when she got these students, I hadn't been teaching with tails for very long. So even when I didn't know what I was doing, using the materials made a big difference to a stranger who didn't know me, but who was evaluating the students that I had taught. So I just thought I would add that information that because there was the question about transfer students. So whether you use Irina's actual materials or not with transfer students, you will learn what you need to be able to incorporate with your current students. And all of us have come to the conclusion that all of our current students become transfer students in our studio. I think that's all I wanted to say right now. So I'll just sign off on that. I hope that answers that question. And if anybody else wants to address transfer students, please do so.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Here's a question from Yukimi. How do you teach piano technique in a fun way? As much as I believe in teaching the right technique from the get-go, it's not my favorite thing to teach. In fact, we make it so much fun, and children don't know that they are learning technique. We are using analogies, we are using stories, we are using props. For example, we are using frog, little rubber frog that we put on our wrist and it jumps, and that's how we learn staccato. We use on our wrist beautiful feather butterfly to learn vertical wrist motion. We use little plush monkey to learn horizontal wrist motion. But it's all so easy, and children learn the proper way because this is something that connected with their own life experience. Of course, they saw butterflies flying from flower to flower. Of course, they watched frogs hopping. They watched monkeys in the zoo swinging on the, or in the books or in the video swinging on the branches of the tree. And that would help their bodies to find the right movement. Instead of telling them, move your wrist vertically, or make a horizontal wrist motion, or lift your finger, or curve your finger, we do it such way that they um, perceive it as a game, as a play, and they become active participants on the lessons instead of passive observers. Children do not learn the same way as adults. They do not learn through demonstration or explanation. They learn through their own experience, through their intuition, subconsciously. And that's how we want to teach every complicated concept and make it easy and fun. Another question is from Sandy. She would like to know how live Q&A sessions work and how it helps the teachers who take the piano pedagogy course. Any of my past participants would like to answer that? How Zoom live Q&As help?
I'm perfectly willing to answer. I've already been on here. Anybody? Isabella, do you want to say anything?
Hi. Yes, I would like to answer that because I was asking myself the same thing at the beginning. And the answer might be that if you struggle with an information or something that you need to practice on the piano for you to absorb it and then explain it to the child. Here it's a group or community of teachers that will provide you the right answer. And also, of course, supervised by Irina, who is willing to explain it really, really good. I remember that I had a problem. I had unclarity about the slurs. I thought something, or I understood something from the course, and it was a little bit wrong. So the Q&A helped me to make it better. And after that, I applied on my students, and it was really okay. Sorry for my English.
I would like to compare the course with just the video as opposed to the video with the Q&A as to if someone dropped an awesome textbook on your lap, medical textbook, whatever textbook, and just I would compare that to just having the textbook and you can read all you want at your own time repeatedly, any number of repetitions, as opposed to that textbook with the author. And I think with the Facebook it added the anytime in it, because the Zoom Q&A you can get on Tuesday, at that particular time. And if you miss, you get a recording of that. Facebook is like anytime you drop on there, people are there, because there's enough people in the world that you basically would get a very prompt answer. I would compare it to that. It's if it's for me, there's no way that I would just do just a course, because after you see something so wonderful, it begs questions, and those questions needs an answer, and it needs the correct answers also.
Thank you, Amy. There is a question from Kayla that she would like to go with the second option, only pre-recorded video course. Will I still get as much out of that? And you probably mean technique. Yes, of course, pre-recorded sessions, they will explain everything and demonstrate. There will be a lot of videos of students, of me demonstrating, a lot of slides. But as Amy just said, um, it's not, you will be on your own watching all of that. Even though if you enroll in live course, um, you will get a lot of support and you really know what is going right or wrong. But again, it's your own choice. Another question is.
Can I add something to that, Irina? Um, not only does Irina comment on whatever is posted on Facebook and answer our questions, that we can post them ahead of time, so you don't have to attend the Q&A live in order to ask a question. Ahead of time, you get because not everybody is in a time zone or that their schedule allows them to attend live. So you are not discriminated against because you get to ask your questions ahead of time and post them on the private Facebook group page. And then they are answered during the Q&A. And then, but the other thing is that as we start posting things, and then not only does Irina comment, but as the course goes on, she's encouraging us to watch each other or to watch the student that has been posted and to comment. And oftentimes that's how I find I learn the best is, oh, I think it's this. And I'll post that and say, but I'll wait and see what Irina says, just in case I'm wrong. And so it's sort of like a hands-on. You know what it's like? It's like being a resident in a hospital where somebody's kind of watching over you, make sure you don't kill the patient, but you're learning as you go along. And so because we get to kind of apply it every week to our students that we're teaching currently, whether it's, our current students or a new beginner that we've tried, or even ourselves, because we get to post ourselves if we want to, then we're able to get that feedback. And I can't emphasize enough the sense of community that grows out of this. When we took the first course, because the very first course, all the sessions were live. And so we started staying afterwards just to chew the fat, the same way you would if you were at a conference and you were standing around talking to other teachers. And when the course ended, that very first course, we decided we really didn't want to stop. So we formed an alumni group separate from Irina, and every month we meet. And it's already been shared that we record them as well for people that can't attend live. And just encouragement, the general questions that we all have, the encouragement that we all need for each other. So none of that would be available to the people that are taking the course as option number 2, which is just to get the course. Obviously, it's going to be valuable, whichever way you take it. But myself personally, I wouldn't exchange the personal interactions and the international friendships that have been made and the feedback, especially the feedback.
Thank you, Sandra.
I agree with. Say something. Sorry. Regarding what Sandra said, also we had the chance to meet in an international recital or two. Then another colleague of ours made a beautiful YouTube rehearsal. It was really, really fun. And the students were so much involved. The parents were so pleased because in a time of COVID, it was one moment. Then they get out to play, and it was really because of this group, this wonderful group, that you will be part of if you are joining the the full program.
Thank you, Isabella.
I was going to add to that. I have found that the community that we have developed is one of the most precious things I've gotten out of this course. we find out um, the how things have gone with each of us individually in implementing this. You know, it can be different from teacher to teacher and even from student to student, and we hear another parent or teacher having um, similar situations as to what we might have. And like I say, the community, the give and take, the ideas and suggestions and commiserations that have occurred within the community of the course. I've taken um, the two levels, and I find it just very, very enriching, because for me teaching has been a rather lonely experience, because other than my daughter, I haven't had a community of teachers, because my area just doesn't do that. So anyway, I just wanted to share how valuable the interactions among ourselves as teachers that has grown out of Irina's course, and what we've implemented has been of huge value, and just engaging. So thank you, Irina.
Thank you, Kathy. Next question. What level of piano is needed? I guess for taking the course, probably. And I can tell that during these past 2 years, I've had teachers who just start teaching piano to concert pianists. So all the range. If you feel comfortable at the piano and you are planning on teaching, this course will help a lot. If anyone wants to add anything to that, or we'll go to another question.
I believe we actually have a teacher last year who took this course just to teach his own daughter. And then he posted, I think his name is David, he posted a video of him playing a duet with his own daughter. It was stunning.
Yes, he is very accomplished pianist, actually. He is not, it's not his profession. He is not teaching, but he is very good at piano himself, and he was teaching his own daughter, and it was amazing. I agree with you. Next question. Is this aimed at a specific age range of beginners? From Sonia. And I don't know if you mean the method or the course, but as Sandra mentioned before, that we talk about how to apply it to transfer students. And I know a lot of teachers even teach adults with this method and older beginners. So primarily it's targeted toward young beginners because of stories. But if you omit the stories and only use the concepts in specific order that is presented in tales, you can teach any level of students. Anyone wants to add anything? Okay. Next question. How much of the course is focused on teaching technique? This is a very good question, and it's kind of broad one, so I won't be able to go deeply into it. But I want to mention that teaching piano is not about technique. Technique is the tool to produce a beautiful sound. Teaching piano is the complex of many different skills required from teacher, such as teaching ear training, developing students' natural abilities, teaching to listen and analyze the music, teaching to analyze the score, technique is one of the important elements of teaching the piano. So I can't tell if it's 50% or 30% of the course or of the method devoted to technique. But technique is always there as a tool to teach uh, beautiful music. Any addition to what I said?
And like Irina said, certainly with younger children, the way this course is developed, they're not aware they're learning technique. Everything is integrated into the pieces. Everything is connected to their imagination. It's just how do you produce these sounds? What story are you imagining when you play this piece? It's I don't even think we introduced the word technique to students for a couple of years, maybe a year if they're really fast progressors. But yeah, it's there's nothing dry about this. It's completely inspiring and involving.
I want to comment on how I think one of the huge advantage of this course is how comprehensive it is. I think teaching them composition within the first few months, teaching students transposition by ear, like I haven't found another method that's more comprehensive and well balanced. So the technique is always there, but it's not just technique. Or the creativity is all there, but it's not just that. So it's actually a really well balanced method.
Thank you, Amy. All right.
Something that hasn't been addressed by anybody here, but I know Irina mentioned to me one time that in just about every workshop that she's given, which are many, many all over the world, teachers will come up to her and say, I wish I knew this before I had my injury. Every workshop, somebody comes up and talks about their injuries or the pain that they're experiencing when they're playing. And that was the case for myself. And I have found that I have more ease and, have been able to relax better. And I know that there are some other teachers here that have attended the course that have experienced the same thing. And I thought I should touch on that it's not only transformative for our students, but for teachers themselves. Does anybody else that's taken the course have anything to add to that?
Okay. Let's go. We have quite a few questions here. Let's go on. Do we all have to enroll by September 1st? Question from Yukimi. Is there any late enrollment? I would encourage everyone to enroll by September 1st because that's the date when the course is starting and you don't want to miss it. Besides, I'm not sure if I will be able to do late enrollment. It's a lot of technicalities and I completely depend on my webmaster. And it's quite complex because of memberships and subscription plugins. So I can't guarantee. I will try to do my best, but I cannot guarantee there will be late enrollment. It will also depend on how many teachers are in the group. If there are enough teachers, we will not even do that. All right. Next question. What is from Sonia? What is an approximate amount of daily practice required of a young beginner, and do they need parental support with that? It's impossible to say how much beginners need to practice because they're all different ages, all different abilities. But we do want to allow at least 1 hour a day for different musical activities that will include listening to music, moving with music, and students and parents receive very clear instructions on what to do. It's not just playing the piano. Again, we want to raise well-rounded human beings. We don't want to be just instrumental teacher. We want them to learn how to understand and love the beauty of the world, not only music. So that involves a lot of different activities. But about parental involvement, it's absolutely necessary. And I have an entire session, and it goes through all the sessions practically, how important parental involvement and how we should educate parents. Without parents, we are not magicians, we are piano teachers. So we really need that. I would say I often show the image of a bird carrying a child, and one wing is a teacher and the other wing is parent. And if one wing is missing, the bird is falling down. And that's what happens with children. If there is no teacher or no parental help, there is no success. But again, um, we talk about it a lot and help teachers to educate parents about how to help with the learning process. All right. Um, are all the videos accessible anytime within 10 months, or only 2 videos distributed per each month? Question from Yiting Chen. Um, you are gonna see 2 videos per month unless you decide to use option 2 when you uh, get only pre-recorded videos and pay for the whole amount at once. Pay the whole amount at once. Then you get all the videos. But because we want to stay on the same page with a group of teachers and be able to discuss the same things, all the teachers get to see 2 sessions per month and grow together. I wanted to mention um, about Facebook group. It's completely private. Nobody can see what we post and what we share with each other. It's also very safe for students and parents because only people who participate in this course, only teachers can see that, and they can't even share that. So it's completely safe for everyone. All right. I hope I answered Yiting's question. Um, Matthias, will there be in the course only techniques taught from the method book Tales, or also various other techniques aside of the ones from the book? In level 1, we mainly talk about basic technical skills, initial technical skills needed for beginners and introduced in Tales. But level 2 course already involves much more advanced techniques needed in scales, arpeggios, chords, and more advanced repertoire. I do have some teachers who enrolled in level 1 and level 2 at the same time, or level 2 and level 3 at the same time because they want to learn everything at once. And this is allowed. I have nothing against it if you want. I just need to tell you that it depends how deeply you want to get into these things. If you really want to devote yourself to learning initial skills, it's better to stick with one level at a time. But again, it's your decision. All right. I don't see any more written questions. Maybe someone want to ask question on live, or anyone wants to add to the to the answers or ask about more details? All right. Okay, I guess we covered most of the things. If I forgot anything, ladies who took the course, please chime in if you think anything we didn't cover here. But if not, then I wish everyone a great last week of the summer. And I hope to get to know you through the course better. And I hope you will join our wonderful community of like-minded teachers.
Irina, if there are teachers who want to ask you questions later, is there a way, or will you send a follow-up video, maybe with the link to enroll?
I can definitely follow up, and I have everyone who registered, I have their email, so I will send the link to the recorded video. And please feel free to ask me any questions. You have my email address. In fact, I can write it right here. It's Irina Gorin at yahoo.com. Very easy to remember, and I can answer your questions if you have them. All right. Very nice to meet everyone who came today. Again, thank you for joining, and thank you for ladies from previous courses who helped me here to answer the questions, and hope to see everyone later. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome.
Bye, everyone.